concerned, and his position was, he says, we need to get you protected so that you're not going to be bumped off or something happened to you. So then 2 weeks later, he was scheduled to go to the National Press Club in Washington, D.C. for the other countries around the world that wanted to hear about the face on Mars as well as other things. And so he had me go as kind of a surprise person there. And I came forward and presented information, and it later wound up at Roswell in their research center and laboratory at the Roswell UFO place. So that's how I wound up getting there. He said, by going forward, and showing where the information everything went, he says, then they have to take care of you and keep you safe, because if you get bumped off, and everybody's going to say, okay, what happened? What'd you guys do to Ken Johnston? And thank God I'm still alive, and that's why I was able to keep the records and information, and I still have access to the original stuff. So, very good. That kind of brings you up to date to where we are right now, I think. Isn't that right, TJ?
All right, Bill, you want to draw him in? Do you know who Ken? You sort of know who Ken is, don't you?
Yes. I remember when you interviewed him before, and of course last night as well. Yes, and that's a cool story. I'm glad you preserved those photos. It's good that they got saved like that. And I'm sure there are a lot of details on those photos that show, like I think you've talked about before, that we see evidence that at least somebody's been there before, human or perhaps otherwise, and they've definitely left traces behind.
Well, I want to mention the Beyond the Matrix, a 5D Ascension experience in Sedona, Arizona, folks. That's different. That is a 5D experience. They do it on Sci-Fi TV Presents, a 5D Ascension experience. Now, that's different from MUFON, Mutual UFO Network, but they're going to have one of our friends, Ken, Brad Olson, okay? And there's a lot of other people. And Bill, we're going to need you to start speaking at some of these conferences to help draw in the difference between fiction and science fiction and consciousness and Ascension Age and the difference. So I'd like you to look into that, because Beyond the Matrix, a 5D Ascension in Sedona. Sedona is known as sort of the New Age woo-woo community. Bill, is there a better way to explain that, although it is beautiful? And we have some beautiful experiences there, including me, and sort of the Crystal Group. And when I have some other things I could talk about, but not on this show about that. But, working with Universal Source and all the what you talk about in the open walk, I really need you to help us get clear on the differentiation between what we experience in 3D reality and what they're talking about in all these other realities and dimensions that other people may not experience when they go into their inner self or do remote viewing. And all of this is getting very confused. It's that time. And I've got Ufology 101 group that I invite anybody that feels like they can train others in ufology to join. It's up, Ufology 101. I've got UFO Secret Space group. I have Ascension Center group. I have so many groups that I'm going to have to bring together. I just don't have any time, Bill. And you've got the open walk. But I'd like you to invite Ken Johnston to it and tell people real quickly, we're going to get off the air in here in a few minutes, but tell Ken how to get there or on Facebook. And have you got Ken as a friend, Bill? I need to get you with friends with him.
Yeah, I don't think we are even. We will. Ironically, a lot of what I wrote in the past in article form, I used to publish articles with this place called Tryon. It was a website that did that, and unfortunately they went out of business. But I had a lot of articles I wrote back then that are more in alignment with the information that Ken is talking about tonight. For instance, I wrote an article about UFO cover-up, why, and in which I talk about the 1960 Brookings report, which talked about the idea that when we would go to the moon or to Mars or other places in the solar system, the question of whether or not we might find ancient extraterrestrial artifacts. And the Brookings report, considered that possibility even in 1960, before we ever went to the moon. And in their report, they recommended that if we do find artifacts of that sort when we go to the moon, then it should be covered up and not exposed to the public, because they feared there would be too strong a reaction. I think they underestimate the sensibilities of people, and they certainly underestimate my sensibilities. I would like to know. I want to know, and I think the people have the right to know. If they found alien artifacts, they should tell us. We have the right to know about it. And I think what you're suggesting, Ken, is that we did find stuff, didn't we?
Well, the Brookings Institute came out, and part of it was, and I'm pretty sure the reason for their decision to not make it public, because of the War of the Worlds, that radio program, in 1938 or something like that came out, and he put on such a good program about the War of the Worlds and how the aliens had just landed and they were killing people, and people panicked. Some people jumped off the top of buildings and committed suicide because they didn't want to be killed by aliens. And so the decision was there is that we as a species, we weren't yet ready to accept the fact that we aren't alone in the universe. There are other intelligent beings around. So that's what we were dealing with when we got to the Apollo program, is that, okay, how are we going to keep anything we find secret? And that's how that all got started. And now the biggest problem is getting past that and getting out to where we can make it all public. That yes, we discovered other things on the moon as well as on Mars, and that it's time that we take our place in the universe of intelligent species. So that kind of covers where our UFOs can become more and more public.
Exactly. And I indeed.
Well, can you two? Go ahead. We've got just a few more minutes, but go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. You read an article?
Furthering on that subject, ever since 1938, the way that we've changed, and I've looked at various polls over the years about how people feel about it, ranging from 1947 all the way up to 2002 when I wrote the article, so it's been a while. But, you can see those percentages steadily increasing to the point to where more and more people believe, more and more people understand. I think we are ready now. That's the point I'm making.
Absolutely.
We can see there's progress ever since then. Another thing to consider about the 1938 broadcast, that was talking about aliens attacking the Earth. And that's why a lot of people panicked. It was all about an attack. If we reveal something like archaeological evidence of something that happened long time ago, these aliens aren't around anymore, it's not a threat. That sort of information should be released, because that's not going to create that kind of panic.
No, it won't. Oh, there'll still be pockets of people that and their religion won't even allow them to accept it. We have any intelligence at all. So it is time for the full disclosure, and I'm really excited about being a part of, and that the records and things that I kept are part of what's been needed, and we're going to be pushing it out to the public. It's time now for the people like us that were involved with it need to come forward and put that information available, because then you've got the documentation and proof of what's been going on that we are part of, and we have been in contact with ever since Eisenhower and the reports. But that's going to take a long time for us to get into, TJ, and we look forward to talking about that sometime.
All right. Well, I would like you to join UFO 101, Bill, and you're in UFO Secret Space, aren't you? Oh, you're already a member of UFO 101. Let me see. Let me see if Ken, I don't think you're in UFO 101, but I'm going to put you in there. It's an older. Ken Johnston. Okay, friends since 2017. Okay, you're in there. But I never know where you're going to be, Ken. You're like me. You never know where you're going to be. But maybe you guys can help us write the book, Ufology 101, to separate. We need alienology, cosmology, pyramidology, epistemology, phenomenology, all the ologies. You know how you did the isms for us, Ken? I need you to do the ologies for us in Ufology 101. And it's for research and ufologists and experience up-to-date people, people, places, and things interested in conscious awakening. And most recent founder, director Javier Sandoval, he had Ufology 101. And organizer, entrepreneurs, social networker interested in promoting events. I made that for him to promote events and plans. So I made that, but I think I'm going to swap that over. I'll put his picture up there. And then he didn't work much with me. He went off to Sedona and made his own little place, and so I may have to rewrite that. But anyway, it's supposed to be for events and plans and sharing people that wanted to get more involved with ufology. And it's really a group type, for instance, but I'm making change. I've got events and plans. So we can make events and plans in there. And, Bill, just think about it. You've got me. Now, what was the other one? Galaxy UFO?
Yeah, there's Galaxy UFO.
All right, we've got Ufology 101, folks, and Galaxy UFO, but UFO Secret Space seems to get a lot. But come back and see us. The Open Walk, let me just tell you, it's Bill, you'd be better at talking about it. You just tell them real quickly how to get to the Open Walk and who can join that.
Well,
the
group
Walk.
is simply called The Opened Walk. It's opened in past tense, got the ED on it. Yeah, that's the name of the group. If you just go to a group search on The Opened Walk, you'll find it. But I was just looking at the groups here at Facebook. I'm trying to find that one you were just talking about. I'm a member of a great many groups here, probably too many. So Ufology 101, I'm trying to find it. But yeah. Yeah, really, the open walk, the subject matter is a little different than what we're talking about right now, but it's still,
It'll fit in there because we do cover it. An open walk should be about anything. It should be more than just my UFO secret space. And but you did say it was a philosophy, and Ken Johnston missed that in the beginning, Ken.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But
okay.
we can bring all of our friends into there.
I probably should start at UFO 101 so I can get educated and start at the beginning. I'm ready.
Well, you're working on the other side, too, because something else I want your help in research, investigation on, or at least journalist investigation or investigative reporting, Bill, is the fact that what's happened to all these UFO conferences that are bringing in wanting therapists. It's the mental health area. For those that are doing past life regressions is one level, and that's fine because I believe in that in reincarnation. That's one track. But the other track is they bring in the therapist after Bud Hopkins to separate the contactees from the abductees from the experiencers. Those three things. I need you to work on that like you did in one of their last books. But we're out of time, folks. So, Ken, we will see you again. Do not forget Thursday night for right here, and I'll try to remind you. So you're going to do Thursday and maybe Friday and Saturday. That's 3 nights a week. But this night, Saturday, is Bill's in the open walk. So we're going to let him take the lead on that, and you can help me and Janet on Thursdays, Ken. And then Friday, Ken, is more just your space stuff and more of the mechanics. So, folks, that's sort of the way I see it in my mind. If you've got some ideas, please get in touch with tjmorrisagency@gmail.com and let me know. And look for our YouTube. You can go back and listen to this right here at TJ Morris ET Radio or on American Communications Online. That's ACO, the acronym, and then American Communications Online, spelled out, on YouTube. So, Ken, that's where we'll be. Bill, that's where we'll be. Bill, you know where to find it. And, Bill, if you can get in touch with Mars One Astronaut, real easy to remember, Mars